Sorry, as you can see, it's a little flustered. I just came from a training camp practice, so I'm not dressed to my nines like all you beautiful men and women in here tonight. But a little bit of like my history. I grew up in Omaha, Nebraska, big wrestling state there. Wrestling Class A, which is our biggest, high school section there. Was a three-time undefeated state champion, four-time national champion. Had a lot of success wrestling. Almost went to college to wrestle. I think I had like a little over 50 scholarships to wrestle in college. Finished my senior year ranked number 2 in the nation. But I think obviously football was the way out for me, but wrestling was my first sport. It was the first thing I was introduced to when I was 3 years old. And it instilled so many amazing values in me that you just hear these guys talk about already. And I attribute a lot of my success on the football field through those things that I was taught at a young age through wrestling. And I think the most unique thing that our sport brings, especially in the way that society is kind of going now, is there's really no time to play and be a victim when you're out there on the wrestling mat. There's nobody to blame for your faults. You kind of just have to man up and own, whatever the outcome is. It's kind of a man, whoop a man type of sport. And so, in football, I can blame the coaches for the call or my cleats for slipping or whatever it might be. But in wrestling, it's just me versus another guy out there. And I think that kind of just mental approach as I took on life was a very advantage to myself. And then obviously when I was getting with Dennis, when I first got drafted here 4 years ago, they welcomed me in with open arms, and I saw how much of a family this was and how really passionate they are about serving in their community, which is a big passion of mine when I was at Stanford, where I went to school. And so I knew that was going to be a fantastic family away from home. My family's still back in Nebraska, and so Dennis and Ilio and the whole scholarship fund here really welcomed me into the family and showed me the ropes. And I was fortunate enough to speak at this same scholarship dinner a couple years ago and saw all the great people that support the wrestling community here, Section 6 in Western New York. And I wanted to get involved in any way that I can. I also run a foundation. We work with kids with developmental differences and special needs. And so that was a key element that I wanted to include when we decided on who was going to win this first award. It would be someone who served in their community. And so to see Aiden's accomplishments in that aspect of his life is extremely important. I'm a firm believer that athletes should be the role models in the world because of the things that they do off of their mat or field or court or whatever. I think we need to hold each other to the highest standards and can be great role models to all those around us. And then the academic piece, when I finished my career in high school, I elected to go to Stanford because of the academics that it brought for me. And so I really wanted that 3-tiered approach for this first award. And again, I couldn't think of a better organization and a better fund to support, because as you guys know who've been coming here for longer than I've been alive, it's a lot deeper than just awarding somebody an award for their awesome accomplishments on the mat. This really is a family that you're now brought into for the rest of your life, for generations and generations.